Today I'm playing Waterloo with an orders system that I have devised, and I use colored dye right now as part of the orders. The description of this system will be found on the blog post that'll be in the description below. I always begin my Waterloo battles with the Grand Battery opening up. Today the Grand Battery is here and they're firing on Hugo Mall. Well, Hugo Mall is still occupied by British forces, but many injured and wounded have been pulled back. It's around noon. Bulow's dragoons have just crept on the board. Riley's Second Corps is assaulting west of Hugo Mall, and Durland is assaulting Hugo Mall, but today Perponker is flanking the attackers. The casualties were heavy around Hugo Mall. The British still hold it. West of Hugo Mall, Riley's troops are driven back. It's early afternoon, the Grand Battery opens up again, but this time part of Riley's disorganized troops are blocking half the battery's guns. And the battery has little effect. Alright, it's mid-afternoon. The Prussians are starting to trickle on. Around Hugo Mall, the French are throwing in everything they have. They've unpacked bags so they can recover some troops and keep the pressure up. Kellerman's cavalry charged. The British infantry, still recovering from their flank attack on Hugo Mall, are taken by surprise and swept aside. Durland's last bit of strength, including battalions of the Young Guard, assault Hugo Mall. But they are repulsed with heavy losses. Hugo Mall holds, and Riley's assault west of Hugo Mall. The British are barely able to pull their artillery clear before the whole line collapses in front of them. And here we are with the mid-afternoon action. The 3rd Prussian Corps, Purchase 2nd Corps, has arrived. And there is swirling combat around Hugo Mall. Uxbridge leads a charge against the French heavy cav. Uxbridge is driven back, though not without effect. The battle for Hugo Mall continues. Another French assault is repelled, and the British still hold Hugo Mall. West of Hugo Mall, the British are forced to fall back under the heavy French assault. Hugo Mall still holds, and Durland's corps is almost exhausted. And finally, in the late afternoon, the Grand Battery fires again on Hugo Mall, driving the last troops from it as the Old Guard enters Hugo Mall. And hearing the Marseillaise being played in Hugo Mall, Durland sends his troops forward in a final charge. And they eliminate about half the British troops retreating from Hugo Mall. And now in the early evening, Bulow's 4th Corps, which entered on the first turn of the game, finally brings up the last unit onto the map. And Blucher's voice is heard. Forward! Uxbridge charges Durland's exposed troops, wiping them out. Napoleon issues new orders to Riley's men, but they do not reach Riley's corps in time. Metagame moment. If Napoleon's Army level HQ is not in contact with the Corps HQ, then he must roll to see if the new orders take effect. The French failed the roll. Next turn he'll be adjacent. Next turn it's automatic, but that costs him a turn. Okay, back to the action. Here we are in early evening. The Prussians are attacking the French right outside Planchenoit, but the British right is crumbling under the French assault. The Prussian assault on the French right pushes French losses over 50%. This will be their last turn. The Guards' cavalry assault on the French flank. They fail to destroy the British. The French simply retreat. Last elements of Jerome's division assault the British. They are held up by the British light screen, and the British troops fall back. And over here in the extreme British right, the Dutch militia cav are trapped against a swamp and assaulted by Riley's 2nd Corps, buttressed with Grenadier Guardsmen. Well, we knew how that would turn out. The French army breaks in the early evening. They have lost 6 infantry blocks. The British have only lost 4. Both armies break when they lose 6. The Prussians, an entirely separate army, have only lost 1 infantry unit. This is very close. The British bags were completely exposed. One more turn and they probably would have been captured, forcing a British loss. But the Prussian assault on the French right was too much. The army broke. That was intense. That was close. Good game.